Here's the port light I'm replacing today. As you can see, it's been leaking for quite some time, and also leaking right along here. But now it's time to replace it. This is what the outside looks like. You can tell that there's been water intrusion, all up in here for I don't know how many years. So we're gonna take all that off and we're gonna rebed it with butyl tape. So here I am scraping away the existing butyl tape. Kind of gives you an idea of how tedious it is. I mean, there's no machine that gets to do this, so I do this all by hand. It takes a long time. I had to do it for every port light. So I have to do it for the outside of the boat, the inside of the boat, and all of the stuff that's left on the actual port light. This glass insert actually comes out. The new plan is to run Sikaflex all around there with the activator and the primer. So I removed all the glass from inside, and then I had to scrape out the inside of each port light. I mean, super painstaking. I had to make sure I got every last little bit out, and it just took a really, really long time for each port light, and then I had to do that 7 times over. But by ensuring it was totally clean and all the old stuff is out, that ensures that I got a really good bond between the glass and the port light. And so once all the old sealant was out of the port lights, I had to go and prep everything for a primer and then the actual new sealant. And so that required really a lot more work, where I had to tape everything. I mean, tape each side of the glass, each side of the port light, each side of the little piece that holds the port light glass in. I mean, it just took so much time, and this kind of gives you an idea of the whole process. And I apologize. In the next scene, you'll see the port light fully bedded. I didn't get any footage of that because it was just too messy of a situation to tape during then. So an update on the port light. The glass, I've replaced that. I used a new sealant. It is Sika 296, and I use like a primer. Let's see here. The Sika Primer 206 GMP. It's like made especially for bonding to glass. So definitely went the extra mile, and spent the extra time. But I think it's going to be worth it in the end, because these are actually really nice port lights. I mean, retail, if I wanted to buy this new, I mean, we're talking, this thing's $800. So I've probably got probably like $70 into this thing. The new glass was $55, had that cut, and then the sealant stuff was I think like $30 for the sealant. And then this stuff is actually crazy expensive. This stuff's like retail like $70. It's just seems absurdly expensive. But yeah, so now the last step here is going to be sealing it with butyl tape. So this will be fastened to the boat. Basically a nice, it's a rubberized gasket essentially. So, but it's totally custom to fit all the nooks and crannies. So we're going to see how that goes. Well, the weather has turned, and it's definitely fall. Working out here on the boat. Yeah, not exactly comfortable. It is definitely blowing. And I'm out here trying to fix the port lights. And here I am putting that butyl tape on. You can see it comes in rolls, and you just kind of stick it on there, and that's kind of really all there is to it. You got to make sure that there's space for the screws to go through and whatnot. There was a bit of a learning curve, but that went fairly smoothly. And then we just had to install it back into the boat. So here I am installing it back into the boat while Jenny works on another port light, because we had 7 of them to do. Gotta say, it's pretty satisfying seeing that water sitting right there and not a drop coming in. So after a huge effort, we were able to get all 7 port lights rebuilt and reinstalled back on the boat. And then at this point, we needed to turn our attention to the 2 hatches. This is what the old one looks like. All right, so I've got most of the sealant scraped off, but you can see that there's still some stuff. All right, I've got new hatch made up. Looks like it fits really nice. All the way around, I've got this scraped down. So now we're ready to just kind of start putting painter's tape up and prepping for the sealant. You see conditions are a little rough today. Blowing a gale again. Okay, we're all taped up. Ready to do this thing. This is the surface activator that will clean and basically prep the metal surface for the primer that we'll put on. The hatch glass also got the activator and primer on it as well. Prepped and ready. So the hatch glass also got the primer, and then at that point we were ready to put the actual sealant on. Both surfaces were totally prepped. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of that because it's a huge messy mess, and I just wasn't able to take any video, so we'll skip forward to when it was actually installed. Well, it looks kind of funny, but this is like my scaffolding, so I could put the tarp over, this tarp over last night. It was kind of a rain insurance, but it worked. Okay, the grand unveiling. Brand new. So much rain. Again, so happy that we replaced the glass and that. Still leaking from like right up here, but it's way less than it was. There's no leaks from up here, so yeah. Eventually, we will have to take this whole unit off and then rebed it. Like you can see, this is just not doing its job anymore, but it's not too bad. Okay, with the boat officially leak-free, we move our efforts to our water tanks, and in the next video, we will detail the process of inspecting our tanks and remedying what we find, which is bad tanks. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Cheers.